Hi there, my name is Jason Magbanua and I'm a wedding videographer. I've been doing weddings for 20 years now, so I've got quite a lot to share with you guys as far as how to do wedding videos. So for today, I'm gonna walk you through the mindset and my process, my technique of creating same-day edits. So this is same-day edit workflow for Do You with Duo. So a lot of you watch wedding videos on YouTube or Facebook. Maybe you have a 3-minute or a 4-minute clip, sometimes even shorter, sometimes even longer. But the point is, even though these are very short clips, a lot of time goes into the preparation, the actual production and shooting, and the post-production of these wedding videos, or more popularly known as same-day edits. I'm gonna walk you through how I do things, how I approach editing a same-day edit video on any given wedding day. First thing that I always keep in mind when making a wedding video is just really knowing my couple on a very personal level. For me, knowing the kind of people, the kind of couple that they are, allows me to tell their story better. So how do I get to know my couple? Essentially, of course, a meeting is imperative. Through a real human personal connection and conversation, I get to know if they're the firstborn, if they're the last to get married, things like that I pick up and I translate into like knowledge and data. So we go into the wedding day. Me and my team, they're already briefed of how the couple is, what they like. I've prepped them about the meeting, and they have a pretty good handle of how to approach the wedding day. I'm sure you've seen one of the ASUS videos that we've done before, the BTS shoot of the wedding. So you get a behind the scenes look on how we do things on the actual wedding day, right? So we're there, we're shooting, we're acquiring footage. Each camera person has a task to do. You're in charge of the bridal preps, you're in charge of the groom preps, you're in charge of the objects, you're in charge of the surrounding, the establishing shots, etc., etc. So everybody has a job to do. From the moment that we enter the bridal preps area until we go to the ceremony, until we go to the reception, everybody has a defined role. And that is very, very important. I've got the cards, right? I got the cards, and all I've been doing the whole time, I and my assistant, my trimmer Dar, she just ingests the footage, copy the footage to my Zen book. Okay, as you can see here on my second screen, okay, it's early in the morning. Let's say it's 9 a.m. So here on the right side, I have my Explorer windows. Files are being copied here. The folder structures, very, very important. And of course, to the left here, you got my Chrome tabs here, checking on the scores of what's happening. Usually, I do sports. Yeah, this is an NBA score. And then let's say if I still haven't decided on the music. Okay, so I have that also. Okay, as here in my second screen, and just checking out music. Let's say I get music from themusicbed.com. I also get from soundstripe.com, and here I also look at or listen to Spotify music. This is for purposes of the demonstration because right now, as you can see, you already have my sequence just really already done here. But I'm gonna walk you through how I built this timeline, how I built this sequence, right? So all of the footage that you get, you just drag it right there, okay? Super fast importing of footage. Okay, let's say for example, let's skip one. I'm gonna put ceremony over here. So this is the raw footage. What do I have? What do I have with under the preparation footage? I have you have labels like that, stuff, preps, veiling, Joanne, Joanne01, Joanne02, that means Joanne, my guy, is taking care of the groom footage. And you also have beauty shots. You have Julius doing makeup, 01, 02, 03. Like, this is very important for me. Organization is important for me. I'm still adjusting and fine-tuning my workflow every time that I do a same-day edit. So it's, never stop learning. That's what this web series is for. What we do to trim the footage first is, okay, let's say I make a sequence, right? Okay, I make a sequence, and let's just label the sequence preparation. There you go. So what I do is I have that new sequence matching the footage that I've been using. Okay, I drag one folder here, and I keep the existing setting. The most important thing to remember when you're trimming something is that you just take away what's not necessary and leave what can be used for the edit. So essentially, what you're doing is, okay, scanning through the footage. It's also important to note that on a per user basis, the shortcuts that you use on the keyboard is very important as well. So you have to set the shortcuts. For example, I want to trim frames. Number 2 is zooming in, okay? And then zooming out is 1, zooming out on the sequence. And then my shortcut keys, C, cut, and then there, okay? So there is my razor, my trimming, and C, and then V to select, and then I get, okay, that piece of footage which I can use for later. So you repeat and repeat that process ad infinitum until you get all the clips that you're able to use for the same day edit later, right? So essentially what you're doing is looking for building blocks to create your story. Really, one thing that I take for granted using the ZenBook Pro Duo is the processing speed and the video card installed in the machine, which really helps you just go through the footage. I always use the metaphor of like a hot knife slicing through butter. Really, that's the metaphor that I use, and that's the metaphor that I keep, because I mean, these files are not light at all. These are 1080p, 60p footage. These are 120 frames per second footage, and I have 4K footage here, and I can slice through them like nothing. So the processing speed, the power, the storage space must keep up with me, and that's exactly what the laptop does. I'm just zooming in and out. Again, I take this for granted, but I don't have this kind of performance in laptops maybe a year or 2 years ago. So I'm slicing and I'm dicing. There you go, picking footage. Okay, let's see. This is 120 frames per second. So imagine the whole day I've been going through the footage, trimming, and then just picking the parts, picking the building blocks, right, that I'm going to use for the edit. Here's what we end up with. I got sections upon sections of trim footage. Here, there, notice the gaps over there, right? So what do we have here? So when I go to this sequence, I have, let's say, I have all my objects and my stuff and my like details of the wedding right here at the front. And then I have footage over here of the makeup, right? There you go. Candid shots, etc., etc. That's what I have over here, okay? And then the next section will be other people, perhaps in the room, candid shots. And you got beauty over here. Right here is the groom preparation. And you have the dress up, okay? That's the groom preparation. And you have the dress up of the bride over here. For people who are starting out, I suggest color coding. So I'm gonna select that, right click, and I'm gonna label it. Let's say color it yellow or mango under Premiere. Whenever I see yellow, I know that these are the vows. Let's say, for example, when I'm doing most of the objects, right? I'm gonna make sure that this is, okay, that's lavender, right? So when I build them, I know where to look at visually. And what's here, you get establishing shots of the ceremony place, of the church, etc. You have one of the most key things that happen in a wedding, almost always the most dramatic part of the wedding, which is the bride walking down the aisle with the church doors opening, the groom reacting. Always a high point, always a climax of most wedding ceremonies. So what do we have here? We have the recessional, which most of the time includes the portrait shots of the groom and the bride after the ceremony. We go to the sequence of the actual edit. I have a couple of pieces of music here. Why do I have a couple of pieces of music? Why do I have two? Because I felt that 3 minutes and 15 seconds it felt short, and felt that there was so much more footage than a 3 minute and 15-second piece of music can accommodate. So this is the instrumental version of this track. So I have like an intro of maybe around 1:30 preceding the actual piece of music that I'm going to use. I use the priest and the vows as a hook to start the same day edit. Let me show you the first 30-45 seconds.
Your love for one another, and to prove to people that you know the meaning of the words which you are going to pronounce in a few moments from now, when you will say your nuptial vows, for better, for worse.
Okay, so I started with that because the priest was just really talking to the bride and the groom, and he was making a joke out of like, they're just freaking smiling and they're just so happy on the wedding day, right? The RAM, okay, of the ZenBook Pro Duo just really allows me to play it back smoothly. And you have to take note also, what do I have here? I have the footage here, like down low. I have the footage down low, right? Video 1, video 2, video 3 track, no? And I have 3 adjustment layers on top. And that's how I edit, really. I want to see everything, how I grade it, how I correct it. I don't want to wait until everything's done before I correct anything. I just want to build it with adjustment layers already on top. And by the way, I have 3. I have 3 because I'm arrogant, I'm mayabang, I'm just really, I know that the ZenBook Pro Duo can handle it. I have 3 adjustment layers. I have a LUT on top. I have film convert nitrate and lumetri just to correct for highlights and shadows right there at the bottom. Let me show it to you raw. There you go. Okay. I mean, really, the RAW isn't bad because we use fantastic cameras, but I want mood, I want color grading, I want to evoke a more filmic quality to the videos that I do. So I'm going to put first my LUT. It does is it just kind of brings out a bit more contrast to the footage, right? A bit more highlights to the footage, bringing it up. Okay. Now I'm gonna put film convert nitrate. Okay, onto it. I'm just really in love with this plugin, and I'm just use it. I didn't use it before because it took me like extra time to render it out, but I'm not fearful anymore because of how fast my machine is, and I'm just laying it on. So just to give you an idea of the kind of footage that I have here, so this is a Fuji simulation. Okay, I'm gonna use a Kodak Portra simulation, which is much more aggressive. See that, right? Okay, I'm gonna use a Super X simulation. That works well, I guess, but it's darker for this particular video. I didn't want it darker. I want it just really bright, light bright, and beautiful. So I'm gonna do that. Okay, 8553. That's my initial choice. And then for the third one, it's just bring it all down, just bringing down the highlights. Okay, so that makes the correct nitrate preset as 8553. 85. There you go. So I decide somewhere along the way that this is where I want to put my opening doors at. Like early on during the wedding, when I heard the vows, or midway, not early on. This is the best part of the wedding for me, like how he said, I do, I do, I do. And this is my footage, right? This is my footage. I'm gonna play it back for you. Okay.
Do you give yourself to her as her husband?
Yes, I do.
And do you accept her as your lawful wife?
I do, I really, really do.
And that was the highlight of the ceremony. He said, I do, I really do. And as a highlight, as a great moment of that wedding, I wanted to end with that, right? So again, since I'm doing, this is non-linear editing, I can start from wherever I want to start or end wherever I want to end. So I said, I'm going to place that piece of the ceremony during the vows, put it at the end. And this is how it ended like.
Do you give yourself to her as her husband?
Yes, I do.
And do you accept her as your lawful wife?
I do, I really, really do.
So essentially, I'm taking those building blocks. Remember the metaphor? I'm taking those building blocks and just building the story. Again, I'm building a story because I want to elicit an emotion. I want to elicit feelings from the people who are going to watch this video. And that's how I do it. After all that's said and done, it's time to export. Funnily enough, exporting used to be a very stressful part of creating the same day edit before. And that's where the ZenBook Pro Duo shines, because at a 1080p sequence, 24p, and this is maybe 4 or 5 minutes, I'm going to show to how fast it can actually export out. Control M, export. So this is a 25 Mbps CBR, constant bitrate export. So let's rename this. Number 4. And we export. So it's faster than real time. This is a 1 minute and 40-second export of a 4-minute MP4 file. Like, imagine the possibilities, the things that it frees you up to do, like doing 4K, doing longer videos, more aggressive color grading. Really, the key takeaway is that this machine, the ZenBook Pro Duo, allows me and gives me the freedom to be more creative, to tell better stories, to make videos which are more compelling to watch, because it's just there. It's reliable, it's fast, it does things that I can't imagine doing like maybe a year or 2 years ago. So exporting is done. This is the file that we have. Again, scrubbing through it like nothing. Beautiful screen to display everything, and this is ready for playback. So there, that's how I build, edit, and create a same-day edit for a client. I do this week in and week out, maybe 3 times, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I'm just happy that I have a machine that allows me to tell these stories that I love telling. I know that the ZenBook Pro Duo has my back all the time. I mean, from the screen, the second screen, the fast processor, the i9, the RAM, 32 gigs of memory. These are specs. These are all numbers. These are all numbers on a spec sheet. But really, what it boils down to is that the specifications of this machine allow me to tell better stories, and be faster at what I do, be more efficient at what I do, be more creative in what I do. And that really is the most important thing in having a machine. It has to be reliable, it has to perform well, it has to melt into the background and allow you to be the creative person that you really are. So guys, this is Jason Magbanua, a wedding videographer, a ZenBook Pro Duo user. This has been Do You with Duo. Hi, I'm Jason Magbanua. Thanks for watching this video. If you like this video, please subscribe to ASUS Philippines to catch more amazing content like this one.